I love opening the door to my workshop. I find it an incredibly peaceful and relaxing place to be. As I turn on the lights, the smell of yesterday's sawdust and wood shavings fill the air. Everything is generally in its place, which allows me to work efficiently. I enjoy the solitude of this space. I often find myself just silently standing there amongst my tools and timber, contemplating my next task or project. I've had a passion for working with wood for as long as I can remember. My father was a fantastic carpenter who could build anything with his hands. I have very fond memories of myself as a young boy visiting my father on his building sites and watching him create the most wonderful homes for people to live in. He was extremely particular and fastidious about the work he did. Everything had to be perfect, and it always was perfect. I suppose that over the years, a number of my father's traits grew and developed in me also. Just like my father, I get an enormous amount of satisfaction out of working with wood, feeling it, listening to it, cutting it, planing it, sanding it, watching piles of wood shavings accumulate on my workbench as I attempt to create something as complex as an acoustic guitar. It's definitely not an easy task to achieve though. In fact, for me anyway, almost every part of the 200-hour build feels like seconds away from disaster. For it all to come together successfully, every single stage of the build has to be precise. There's no room for even the slightest of errors. I've been incredibly fortunate throughout my life to be able to find the right people at the right time to help guide and teach me the skills required for success. When I make a decision to proceed with a new venture, I'm incredibly hungry for knowledge. I research thoroughly, I ask numerous questions, I practice, I make mistakes, I learn, and I slowly but surely progress. My guitar building journey has been no exception. In fact, I'm currently surrounded by a host of the most wonderful guitar builders who have so generously provided me with their guidance, advice and direction over the years. As a consequence, my knowledge of how to build something as difficult as an acoustic guitar is now so much more honed than it otherwise would have been. It's just as well also, because this particular guitar I'm creating is very special indeed. I'm building it for a friend of mine, Alex, who currently has absolutely no idea that this instrument is being built for him. Without his knowledge, his beautiful wife Mary contacted me and asked if I could create a surprise 60th birthday present for her husband. I was delighted to have been approached and have the opportunity to create something as special as an acoustic guitar for my friend Alex. There's an enormous amount of work to be achieved when creating the guitar's soundboard. This seemingly simple piece of flat timber on the front of the guitar will primarily determine the overall sound of the instrument. The soundboard's shape, its overall thickness, how it's braced underneath, its structural integrity, and its ability to pump air whenever a string is plucked will all play a vital role in giving this particular guitar its own individual voice. I've chosen some gorgeous flame maple for the guitar's back and sides. I've based the size and the shape of this particular instrument on a Martin OM guitar. The neck will be made of bird's-eyed maple, which can be difficult to find in the world these days, and I'll be binding and highlighting many parts of Alex's guitar in beautiful, dense ebony. The extreme colour difference between the blonde maple and the black ebony is going to produce a striking and aesthetically beautiful looking guitar. And for such a special occasion, I've also decided to inlay Alex's name on the 12th fret using mother of pearl and red composite stone. It's a one-off, created only for Alex. Any machinery I use is generally only done so to remove excess material throughout the build. A bandsaw and router can prove to be very handy. However, it can also be quite a daunting experience presenting a guitar body to a router bit spinning at 15,000 revs per minute. Those sort of cutting speeds are incredibly unforgiving if anything goes wrong. So when that type of machinery is used, total focus and commitment is always required. As you'd expect when making a handmade instrument, there's a lot of work to be done using hand tools such as chisels, hand planes, card scrapers, etc. It's not only important to be able to use these types of tools safely, correctly and confidently, but quite a lot of time and effort also needs to be applied to ensure that the tools are kept razor sharp and able to handle the work I require them to do. I find it incredibly rewarding watching the guitar ever so slowly come together, keeping my fingers crossed as I bend the maple sides into their final shape. The cutaway section of the lower side is a particularly difficult bend. I could make life so much easier for myself and choose not to incorporate a cutaway into this guitar. However, I know how much Alex enjoys playing beyond the 12th fret. The finishing of the guitar, and by that I mean the sanding, the sealing of the timber, the applying of the lacquer type substance, etc., can take almost as long as the time it takes to build the entire instrument. This phase is quite tedious and fraught with danger. Rubbing through the top coats of lacquer whilst attempting to produce a mirror finish can occur in an instant and set you back days or even weeks. As Alex's guitar slowly comes together, I find myself wondering what his reaction will be when he opens the case for the very first time. What will his eyes focus on in those first few seconds? Will it be the Mason Guitars logo that's proudly displayed on the instrument's headstock? I love that logo. Or the fact that his own name appears on the 12th fret. Whatever it is, I doubt it will be long before he realises that this particular guitar has been handmade just for him. Creating Alex's guitar has been quite a journey that's taken me a number of months to achieve. At times I've been considerably challenged and have had to overcome some seemingly impossible tasks along the way. I'd be lying if I said that it's been easy, because it definitely is not. But that's probably why I chose to take on such a difficult project to begin with. I like to be challenged, and the sense of achievement I've received now that Alex's guitar is finally complete is immense. My only hope now is that he enjoys playing it as much as I've enjoyed making it for him.
Thank you everyone for coming, every one of you. It was quite a bit to get it together.
Careful.
There's a lot of careful planning, a lot of organising, a lot of headaches, and I organised a little present for you by a dear friend. You are the love of my life, and I'd do anything for you.
Hello.
All right.
Hello.
Oh my God!
Alex, you take the stage here, mate.
Oh my God! What is that?
I asked Paul to make a guitar for Alex and personalise it for him.
No way!
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
That's Paul's hard work.
What? That is unbelievable. Look at the back, Al. Look at the back.
All right,
Wow, that's amazing.
nice blonde. Nice blonde.
Blondes have more fun.
In tune.
It's always in tune, mate.
Mate, that's beautiful.
Thanks, mate.
That's
Can
beautiful.
I just say a few words? It's taken me about 6 months to make this guitar for Alex. I couldn't believe it when Mary asked me to make this guitar. And it put a lot of pressure on me, to be honest with you, because as a guitar maker, it's they're difficult enough to make without having to make one for a mate of yours, Alex. And it had to be perfect, and I've done it the best I can.
That is amazing.
I've put his name in the 12th fret. I've personalised the label. I've put your birth date and it's custom in the sound hole.
Can we have a look again?
And
Wow.
your present from me isn't this. This is from your wife. But your present from me, I've made you a beautiful pen out of the leftovers of the neck and the back strip of this guitar.
Wow.
And I don't know if you're right. I wanted to make you something special.
Have you heard of Google?
I wanted to make you something special, so I've made you a beautiful turn pen out of the leftovers of
Your guitar.
your
That is
guitar,
absolutely
high-end timber.
amazing.
It's made out of beautiful flame maple from Italy. Beautiful spruce front. There's a bird's eye maple neck. Ebony. Everything's ebony. If it's not ebony, it's high-end maple. It's a gorgeous guitar.
Thanks, mate.
Wow.
Beautiful.
More importantly, thank my beautiful wife for
Yes.
even
Get around.
how sexy is that case?
He loves the case.
That's beautiful. Even the dot inlays, mate. Are
The dot inlays, mate.
That's
Sterling silk. Sterling
That's
silk.
unbelievable, mate. The maidens for sale. Anyone want to buy a maidens in the kids? For sale. That's great. Wow, that's awesome.
Play back on stage.
All right, I'll play one. Where's my pleasure?
You need to do it. I can't.
it's
My
not
arms
my
are
hand.
fucking killing me.
for me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. Feel I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. The action is amazing, Paul. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Yeah, 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 yeah. Knock, knock, knocking on. Brilliant job. Thanks, mate. That's cool. Paul?
Wow.